we are back for another warm-up show with the hockey coach, your coach franchise directly for the beautiful country of Thailand. And we have to go all the way to find our co-host, sit downtown in the caveman in Toronto right now, waiting for the show start. He is ready to rock and roll with 5-game initial game tonight. Mr. ENORTAP back in the house.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Nice Super Bowl. Ready to go at it again. Another week of predictions.
Super Bowl weekend. Football 38-35. We're going to talk a little bit, talk about this a bit later. Some people prefer the halftime show, but it's up to you. You know what I mean? It's everybody have their own opinion about this, Mr. Tap. But what a great weekend of hockey. Montreal Canadiens played this one weekend, got 2W. Going to talk about a little bit news around the league, the 3-star of the week, and then what happenings on the weekend. And then we're going to talk about what happening for now for the upcoming week around the NHL with fantasy hockey news. And everything you need to know, that's all the only thing you have to know is to pop up at the show on 6 o'clock p.m. and Monday to Friday. Just watching the warm-up show. And we have a few people go to the bus. Nobody went to the jail Friday night, Mr. Top. That's a great news to see that. That's proof the way you are the GOAT. Nobody go to jail. They listen to you, they pay attention, and they get the result. That's the recipes of success, Mr. Top. And that's happening again Friday night at the warm-up show. And congratulations for the people.
Or maybe they just were easy games.
Yeah. But first of all, you have to participate. That's help. Secondly, you have to take the right pick. Thirdly, they listen to you. That's the result again. But we're going to talk about this. A few people pop up already. Mr. Top from Taiwan is ready to rock and roll, looking for the sky, looking if something could happen. Mr. Jeffrey Corey is in the house.
Hey, Jeffrey, welcome.
Thanks so much. We have the Captain Kirk. Mr. Nortap is in the bus. He's ready to rock and roll in the house, by the way.
Hey, Ryan. Welcome aboard.
Captain Kirk had a great week last week. Congratulations about this. That's the captain of the moderator, Mr. Nortap, directly down somewhere around Ontario. Mr. Luciano GRAZIANO is in the house.
Hey, Luciano. How's it going?
I believe he's in the bus, by the way, Mr. Nortap. By talking about Friday night, we have a hattie trick again. We get a lot of hat trick recently. Peter August did it again. Mr. Tap. Yeah, too many. He's never going to be in jail and for the rest of the season so far, I believe. You have too many of them about this. The road runner knocked the door, Mr. Tap, directly from Montreal.
Welcome, Gary.
Good evening, Coach. Elite, by the way, Hoffman is far. He played with the Red Hot Duck. See you at the airport. Hoffman said, Gary, you're absolute about Hoffman. What a great weekend he got during the weekend. Yann Gionnet de retour avec nous de Nouveau-Brunswick, Monsieur Nortap. Yann Gionnet, welcome back.
Yann, welcome back.
Glad to see you around. Yann, with us, the captain, Danny T, knocked the door from the garage. Welcome back, Danny.
The Capitano. Welcome, Danny.
Do you think a lot of people build their cavemen in the garage?
Yeah, some, but usually not in cold temperatures. Though.
Yeah, that's what. Is this something happened to Orleans
Usually it's
yesterday?
the basement.
Mr. Nortap?
What's that?
Is this something happening in Orleans yesterday in Ontario? I saw on the Twitter something happened to Orleans. I don't know it was about something specific or I don't know, Danny knows something. But someone said...
I don't think I heard anything.
Okay. Maybe it was about specific, but Orleans, it could be New Orleans, could be Orleans, who knows about that. But I read something about... but I did not know the story about this. It's just wish luck to Orleans, so be careful Orleans, something like that. So... I just want to,
No, I didn't hear that.
Great one from Montreal with Edmonton 6-2 yesterday. Mr. Ryan Kirk talked about this. Jeffrey. Here we go. We're going to go around the league, Mr. Natal. Don't forget, everybody, to click on the like. That'd be great if you don't mind. That'd be awesome. By the way, we're going to talk about the leaderboard at the end of the show, Mr. Natal. But people want to participate. This is the email, hnls@warmupshow@gmail.com. And Mr. Natal is going to respond to each one of you. We appreciate each one of you pay attention and send your email. First of all, what pay your attention, Mr. ENORTAP, as only we can. I'm going to give you a couple of things. I'm going to go around. This is the 5 team. I have a good week last week, but I will let you know what you have. We're going to talk about a 3-star after you finish what pay attention on the weekend.
Well, you're right. The first team I saw there was the Rangers. They've been rolling along. A nice transition there for Tarasenko to add a little bit of fire to that offense in New York. Not that they really needed it, but it does help balance their lines a little bit more. The weekend we saw on Saturday, there were a ton of games. I think there was maybe 14 games
Yeah.
in total, if I'm not mistaken. And we saw the back-to-back from Friday to Saturday, the Leafs and Columbus. And Columbus really, put it to the Leafs on Saturday night with that 4-3 victory. That's unfortunately it's a game that you don't want to leave any points on the board if you're the Leafs. But you got to give credit to Columbus. They really played a solid game, especially in that second and third period. I think they had, in those 2 periods alone, they had about 35, 36 shots on net. So you could tell that the Leafs miss having their top goaltenders there. Defensively, they didn't look very good. I gotta say, Columbus really took advantage of them in their own end zone. Creating turnovers, getting on the puck first. You know, back checking much better than the Leafs did on that game. So that was also something that stood out. But I gotta say, Coach, you look around the league, and right now you're getting a lot of the bottom dwellers that are winning games, which you know is good. It's not good, depending on your point of view in terms of whether you want your team to tank or get a better opportunity at a draft pick here. We saw a tight game between Arizona and St. Louis on Saturday that went to overtime. Arizona still picked up a point, even though they lost that game. Yesterday, of course, we saw Montreal win against the Edmonton Oilers. A real surprise to me, if you ask me. And I can understand the Islander game. This one here really shocked me, I'll be honest, 6-2 especially. We saw who else did we have? Anaheim. Well, no, Anaheim lost to Vegas yesterday. A convincing loss. And I thought Vegas has been, given the injuries that they've had, especially now with to Thompson, and it looks like Eichel's not even playing at 100%. That they're coming up big and they're winning games when they have to. All this is doing is on a nightly basis, it's changing the positions in the Pacific Division, especially. Right now, I think we have, I think Vegas is back on top with 68 points. And with Seattle's win yesterday, which was a nice win, it gets them to 65, tied with the Oilers. But also tied with them is LA at 65. So you got 3 teams at 65. The Calgary's not that far off. They're at 60. So those are the 5 teams that are going to really battle it out, I think, till the end. And the other team that's stuck in that middle is going to be Minnesota, because I really don't see them catching up to Dallas or Winnipeg. And it looks like Colorado's gotten hot now, so they'll probably stay. Those will be your top 3. So if Minnesota's going to make the playoffs, they have to make it by virtue of the wild card. And so does that take out Calgary? Does it take out, LA? Does it take out, Minnesota? Who knows? That's what makes it exciting down the stretch. In the East, it's a little bit different. I think there's less of a confusion. I still think that you have right now. Who do we got in there? We have the Islanders. I think are 2 points behind, if I'm not mistaken, or they're tied. Yeah, they're 1 point behind Pittsburgh, but they've played 4 extra games. And Washington, who has played 1 game less, is at 62. The Islanders are at 60. Uh, and I would almost stop there. I know Florida's kind of been hot as well, but I still don't think that they're missing some big pieces that would allow them to go further. Maybe Buffalo could give it a run, but they'd have to get on a huge winning streak, I think, down the road.
Yep. So right about that, we have Mr. Terry T is in the house. Mr. Antap, welcome back, Mr. Terry T. Thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Live Show. Last week the Rangers are very hot. The Vegas got they are all 5 teams on the streak right now with the Winnipeg Jets. Montreal play only 2 games, but they won the W. Detroit won, of course, with them. So they are 5 teams. Like I mentioned. For me, it's more about the Vegas Golden Knight. Whatever happening over there, they continue to at least performing enough to stay on the top of the Pacific Division. Everybody thought they're going to be down because the injuries, Max Stone and Thompson, but they're still away. I think they not only win oh wow, no, they really destroyed the both team this week on the road. One at home, one at home, and that's make them really see what they're going to turn around. About that. We have a couple of news I want to mention to you around this. First of all, the first of all is NHL news around the league happening during the weekend. Mr. Tab, going to go through those information. Whatever happening, it was really the LT scratch of the game of the Jacob Chikron Saturday. A little bit shocking what happening before the bet. Now everybody getting, we have a trade. We have a trades coming. It was mentioned a couple of teams, Edmonton, Toronto, but at the end of the day, it was more about the Kings was involved with the trade with Arizona at Chikron. So we not done deal. The deal is not done yet. Look like he's not going to play again tonight for reason LT scratch for possibly a trade. So he's not going to play any other game in Sonata for Arizona. Look like the King are there. It's just missing a couple of pieces of the puzzle to complete that deal. What your first impression about that negotiation? Or
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you want to protect your asset. In this case, Chikrin. It does. Every report I'm getting has them as the front runner, LA, and I mean we kind of had them in the mix all along. I know there were a couple of other teams that we were considering, but obviously LA has the ingredients necessary, the assets necessary to pull this off. So I wouldn't be surprised if the partner turns out to be the Kings.
Yeah,
and it would be a great addition to them.
Yeah, sometimes people ask why this don't work. It's because sometimes maybe you have a player involved with some kind of contract where he refuses a trade or he doesn't want to go or something like that. So you have to be always concerned. After that, it could be another trade where the team wait a little bit more to see if it's part they will do it all the way or not. And sometimes because the King told the other team that not be involved anymore, it's really us, and they can call other teams. So no, we're going to make the deal every time that. So is it? They mentioned yesterday Clark is not involved with that trade. That remove him. So maybe a possible Walker or Hua could be, or Dursey could be involved with that trade. And then another player prospect like Turcotte could be that one first round pick from the Los Angeles Kings. We don't know exactly the behind this, but I would not be surprised. That's the reason with all everything. We're going to definitely know more in the next couple of days, Mr. Nortap.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go beyond Friday.
Yeah, Joseph Laham knocked the door, and the WJ is on the house, Mr. Nortap. Welcome back.
Hey, welcome, WJ.
Very interesting about Chikron. I'm going to talk about this tonight at the show at 9 o'clock. We invite everybody to join me live at 9 o'clock p.m. for the AB Nation live show. What I will say to you is Chikron, the trade, how they got Chikron, really a good story about the Detroit Red Wings, Mr. Natap. And they had to make some kind of move before they got Chikron when they draft him. So I'm going to talk about this tonight at the show. So I invite you to join me live. And then we have a couple of conversations about the Carlson, San Jose Sharks, Edmonton Oilers during the weekend. They talk about the fact possible, they make all kinds of trade. And then you have some kind, you have to remember the fact the money, the cap space, everything like that. It's not guaranteed going to do it, right? But you never know. If they make it, do you think it's possible? Do you think you feel like they will happen or not?
It could. I mean, that's definitely something that Edmonton has been lacking. Is that kind of a player like Carlson that could lead them on the power play, can carry the puck. I mean, I know we jump on him for his defensive play a lot of times, but really, it's not horrible. I think there's worse defensemen that are in that league um, uh, that do a poorer job than Carlson does defensively. He's not the greatest, but he's not one of the worst either. But what he brings to the table in terms of the ice time that he can log, the different situations that he can play in, and obviously the power play, it would definitely benefit the Edmonton Oilers. That's one area of concern that they had. It looks like they might. The word is that they might be putting, and I think you have it there. They might be putting Puljujärvi on waivers to at least get rid of. I think he's making 3 or 3.5 million right now.
3.
3. So that's a help. It's still not enough. Obviously, whoever they're trading would have to have some contract going back the other way. Maybe
Yeah,
a Tyson
Barry
Berry.
owed $4 million, Mr. Top.
Yeah, so that would definitely address the issue, I think, and I think they have to go all in because they have a very, very good team. I mean, Sunday aside with what happened with Montreal, but they've been playing some really good hockey. We saw what they can do when they're in the playoffs, and if the goaltending remains solid, like it looks like Campbell's finally starting to at least come into his own again, they could go very, very far.
Yeah, definitely. Plus be honest with you, Mr. Top, everybody in that chat, which is really a solid team right now in the Western Conference. You're confident they're going to go all the way. They don't have they don't have
Winnipeg. No, I'm just joking.
but they don't have anybody really over everybody else. Like they are all in the same boat. Like you cannot say Vegas,
exactly.
you cannot say Winnipeg, Dallas, or it's Colorado. They always project that, but so far since the beginning of the season, they don't have anybody go from to the top in the top 5 in the NHL. It's more about Boston right there, Carolina, and the other. So it's really interesting. The window is a little bit more open now to go all the way. So if you make a big splash like Carlson and Edmonton, possible to give the card all the way to go to the end. The problem with that is the returning money, right? San Jose gave Burns 33% now with Carlson. It's $6.5 million if you own 50% of the contract. Can they go to 40? I don't know. But and he still have to go for 4 more years. You have an amazing, great. He is right now for me the Norris Trophy. He continues to produce 3-point there, another 3-point there, 2-point there.
Oh yeah,
He dominates completely the defenseman. He's right over 73 points in NHL. He's going to reach 100 points. So I believe, and that if you add Carlson with Edmonton Oilers, you have to put now the Edmonton at the top of the Western Conference candidate to go all the way to the final.
You're right, and we talked. I talked about it a little bit earlier about the Pacific Division. On any given night, they're all changing positions in the standings there. So it's anybody's to take. The only obstacle I could see, and that's why we have to kind of wait until the trade deadline is over, if Dallas can somehow pick up a really good winger, possibly somebody like Timo Meier, that might put them in the front seat, but there's no guarantee, right? So
I
think
believe Dallas can go to get Bertuzzi for Detroit.
Bertuzzi would be another good pickup. You're right. Yeah.
Because the connection with Jim Neal, I make the video this weekend about different players. I talk about Carlson, Meier. I'm talking about Bertuzzi. And I think Bertuzzi can go Tampa Bay Lightning or the Dallas Star.
Yeah.
Because the connection with Steve Eisenman, Jim Neal, and of course Pat Verbeek, but that Verbeek don't need Perdozy right now. So I wouldn't be surprised Perdozy part of that trade over there for sure. A lot of conversation right now. I'm working as a
Another,
Timo Meyer with the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mr. Tap. It's not on this.
yeah,
What do you feel about that?
list. Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, anytime somebody like Dubas denies so vehemently as he does, no, we're not going after Timo Meyer, then you know that they're in the mix somehow. So I think they just want to protect all players involved until the deal is probably settled out. But I would put the Toronto in probably a category of 3 or 4 teams that are legit pursuers of Meyer right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think Toronto and New Jersey could be the top two teams could get Timo Meyer. That would be another big splash if
Yeah.
you do this. That would make them a little bit over the Tampa Bay Lightning if it's happened.
The other one I think that could possibly happen, Coach, that I'm hearing, is Shen to Tampa Bay. And
Yeah,
that's from the comments that Bruce Boudreau made, that they said apparently they were after Shen even last year at the trade deadline time and things didn't work out. But he knows for a fact that they've, kicked the tires on him. So, and that
well,
would be
he
a
played
great
won the
addition to
Stanley Cup
that
with them.
defense. I know.
So, but it's
So,
not like a big impact, right? It would just bring something like it's just like a
yeah.
third tier or the trade or the
Well,
Shen was
that's
mentioned like different team in NHL for sure
yeah.
about that.
But
Uh,
that's the way Tampa Bay works, right? They look to fill in those third, fourth lines, the extra defensemen that can contribute. Like they don't have a lot of tinkering that needs to be done. They already have an excellent team as it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
So
this. We have a question about Double J. Any news about Jeka injury? No. Montreal was
no,
off today. Yeah, nothing happened in the website or anything about that. It's going to be a little bit long, at least a couple of weeks for sure. He got out after the game with a kind of brace around the shoulder, Mr. ENORTAP. So we expect him possible to be a couple of weeks. I would not be surprised. Now we see if it's going to be a surgery or not. But definitely another bad news for the Montreal Canadiens. Chicago Bear pop up in the chat. Welcome aboard.
hey,
Thanks to be
welcome,
with
Nick.
us, Chicago Bear. Sidney Crosby, Mr. ENORTAP. During the weekend, he got his first game injected against the Los Angeles Kings after it was 6-0. Then he was some kind of the drama with the Zegras. Zegras is starting to make another Bennington in NHL, Mr. ENORTAP. Zegras, not first time he got
Yeah,
involved with other players. He play under their
Gaffer.
skin. Left and right about Zegras right there. Something we have to a little bit more to be a little bit more pay attention long term about Zegras. So it's not the first time. It's rare where Crosby is going to run a guy like at that level of hockey player like Zegras, but it's happening Friday. He continues Saturday against the Los Angeles Kings 6-0, and then he was upset with the referee. Now we have to understand.
Yeah,
He got cross
the
checking in the
concussions.
back, right?
Yeah,
And be proud of that. He got a elbow in the head before that. And cross checking is a part of the game for me in front of the net. I have no problem with that part. They don't tolerate this anymore. But I think a good cross checking should be a part of the defensive zone. Like you put your stick under the other stick and you anyway. And he got cross checking. Only thing is for me is dangerous is this part. Or the referee should consider this more. It's like when you cross checking someone that's on top and they have a slap shots coming for the blue line. But you lose control of your body when you get a cross checking like that. Does it make sense? Like you cross checking on
yeah,
and the puck is in the corner, right? It's not like you're not in danger to get hurt or get a puck if you turn that. But when you get cross checking in front of the net and then you completely lose your body controlling about the pucks coming. Now you cannot do anything about it. That's the way where I would go completely call it that. It was an automatic 2 minute there. Yeah, it's being banged out of this. But again, Crosby got that kind of the upset on that game, everything like that. I think Pittsburgh, of course, are upset too with where they at. Why? Because they know right now they're going to play with Boston, and they know they don't have the team to get Boston. And I think that you can see a Crosby right now and not very happy around what's going on with himself with that game. Of course, a 6-0. It's not what you like to play, mentally, physically after two period. But what do you think about the Crosby's on the weekend?
Well, you got to realize he's had, I think, three different occasions he's been out of the lineup in his career because of concussions, and that's enough to set anybody off. If somebody's coming at you and a cross check is too high, or an elbow who's coming to the head, yes, you have to be aware of your situation. But I also think that part of the reason he did that is that game against LA, that 6-0 game. Um, they were still in that game, and for some reason, Pittsburgh, when it was 2-0 for LA, the team threw in the towel. The only guy that was playing out there, in my eyes, was Crosby, and I think it was a frustration in one sense about the score and the fact that this is a team that they could play with and probably get some points against. But more importantly, I think he wanted to sort of get a little bit of motion back into the game with his teammates. And, he didn't like the fact that they gave up. And I don't blame him. I think that's part of being a good captain, is to get your team motivated and be part of, lead by example, and also get them going when the going is tough.
Yeah, absolutely about that for sure. I was just looking about this potential target missing attack for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think at the trade deadline, you take another maybe Timo Meyer. That's something they can look about him. Brooke Bozer, Vancouver Canucks, Tyler Bertuzzi, and then a defenseman,
Yeah.
Jake McCabe and Luke Shine. On the flip side, Sunny beginning season is another team never been healthy on the defensive side. Petrie out, Letank out, goaltender Jerry. So you have those kind of inconsistency team play because the key major losing during the season for the Pittsburgh Penguins is not helping what they at that moment. But really interesting what they're going to do in the next couple of weeks, 18 days before the trade deadline for them, because they don't have a bad team. You think about the Pittsburgh. I took a note here because I want to check in that, Mr. Tap. They are 14 on the goal for. They are 18 on the goal against. Power play 17, penalty kill 12. So they are really at the mix of the bottle, the middle of the NHL. So you can add one or two additional players, could make them a little bit better. And now they are the Stanley Cup champion, where they can get there. I don't think so, but I think a good one or two key good trade are helping them, Mr. Natap, for that for sure. We have Willie
Well,
Snyder in the
they
house,
gotta
Mr. Natap.
worry. Yeah. Hey, Willie, welcome. They got to worry about getting out of that first round as well. Like it's been about 3 out of the
Well, that's
four
the key, right?
last
They are
years.
stuck right now in that metropolitan with the Rangers better,
That's
Carolina
right.
better, and New Jersey now they probably going to be better for the
Better.
future. So
Yeah.
the window close within Pittsburgh if they don't make some kind of transformation the next 2 3 years, obviously. And other news: Vancouver Canucks waive today the goaltender Martin. This was a big. Sometimes you make some. I always said one or two trade decision could impact your team. To give your confidence about a goaltender like Martin, I think was a very big problem at the beginning of the season in Vancouver Canucks. Whatever it's Boudreau, Rutherford, whatever they are. Martin never proved anything in NHL, and they gave him like almost a backup number two. When Demko get out after that, he proved it. He's not a regular in NHL, and people say, "Oh yeah, listen, like Montembeau, yes, he's looking good. We have to prove it again 75 more time before we can consider him a regular goaltender in NHL." And that's happening in Vancouver. The situation in Vancouver is not looking good with Trelia now as a goaltender number one. Will be interesting. And then Edmonton, like you mentioned, Bulgijavi is still in the team. Will be
Yeah.
interesting. What are they going to do with him? Could be involved with a trade, or he could be on the waiver the next couple of days. That will be something to get about that, Mr. Natap. Penguin thinking about the club parties. I don't know. I don't think so. It's a really, it's a mature team, Terry. I don't think so. It's a team on the party at the Pittsburgh. I'll be honest with you. I don't see that over there. I want to mention a couple of news. We have 33 right now. And the 3-star of the week, Mr. Top Panarin. We got that the 3-star of the week, Panarin with 4 goals, 5 assists, 9.4 game. We know we have 5-6 point against the Carolina Hurricane. I think we did not talk about this, but the Rangers put a big statement against the Carolina, 6-2 Friday night, I believe, from the Rangers. And then Erik Karlsson, we just talked about him, 7.3 game. Again, San Jose surprised the Washington Capitals yesterday. Finally, Clinton Keller for the Arizona Coyotes. Another underrated player at my eyes in NHL, 7.3 game. If Clinton was play for any other team major, he would be really a good player. He remind me a lot of Jesper Pratt for the New Zealand Devils if I compare this, Mr. Tap. But before we move, we want to add a little bit more news. I make a video today. Ab lose Jekai and they lose Cobber Bedard, Mr. Tap. You can check this one. Bedard is out and the uptick of the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm going to talk about this tonight. And then trade or no trade Anderson. Ouch, Mr. Tap is going to be a subject of the 9 o'clock p.m. tonight, Mr. Tap. You trade or not trade Josh Anderson? That'll be that one, the subject of the night. Pierre Martin knocked the door. Welcome aboard, Pierre Martin. And that's what's happening about this one. We're going to go around what we have for you, Mr. Tap. We're not done yet. Update about a couple of minutes. Jekai, we don't know yet. We'll be interested. The good news, everybody knows the shoulder. So they cannot hide this to us. This is the shoulder for sure. What about, Mr. Top, the first goal of Belzile as an NHL at 31 years old? Mr. Top, this is a great story during the weekend. I've worked 520 games, I think, as a professional, play for 6 or 5 different teams in East Coast Hockey League. That's what I've been there for many years, right. Work over there. This is low. It's like a midget double A. Play, and then he's going to play one day, play in the NHL. That's all it is for Belzile. Never give up, knows working hard, playing American Hockey League over 135 game, I believe, before, or 300 something game, and then he joined the Montreal Canadiens. He finally got the goal. What a great story. At 31 years old, not happen a lot. At that over 30, you can get your first goal in NHL.
Yeah, totally a great case to look at for younger kids that are aspiring to make it to the NHL. Just keep plugging away because you never know, an opportunity can arise, and he's been through it all, and he's taking every moment as it comes and taking advantage and continuing to play the best he can.
Yeah, absolutely about that. We welcome Marco Larabie, the co-host of the App Bronx Youth Sunday Rendezvous.
Hey, Marco,
welcome back. Thanks for being with us. A gamer show up. Thank you to be with us. And then Pierre Martin talk about Skinner, the cross-checking, dangerous to the neck about this. The defenseman show up during the weekend for the Montreal Canadiens. Harris, 2 goals. Madison, the goal-winning game. And then we have a great performance, Kovacevic. But honestly, David Savard have an amazing, great weekend for the Montreal Canadiens. And that's one reason Montreal won this weekend. It starts with the defenseman. They have a good, Savard play 4 minutes, the last shift, again, the New York Islanders, by the way. The defenseman, they relentless the puck. They was good on transition. They was involved. And they are the 31 in NHL with the most goal in by the defenseman. They are the bottom of any other team. Not many precipitate about the defenseman, but with 2 goals for Harvest, I think they're helping them a little bit to produce better results on the weekend. The second line, Dadonov Hoffman. What you said? Yeah, Dadonov Hoffman. Are you sure? Yes, it's Dadonov Hoffman. Mm-hmm. That's about this.
Hoffman, baby. Hoffman.
And Drouin have 2 assists during the weekend. So, point behind that, I'm messing up. They are Dadonov have an amazing, great 6 week, by the way. People can complain about Dadonov, but he can analytic stuff, everything like that. He bring a lot on the table. And Hoffman's starting to wake up a little bit more. But that was our expectation at the beginning of the season with them. And now they prove it. They're doing well. And the one you can complaining, he's going to get you 1.2 point per game. And you said that's not going to have Montreal. But how many points has Pitlick? How many points has Perseda? How many points have Armia? And you can go all the way like that. But everybody said, no, we don't need Drouin. But you're going to get 1 point there, 1 point there, 1 point there. That's he produces. He produces you 50, 60 points per season, 50 point, 45, 50 point. That's what you get from about Drouin. And that's what he did against Sunday against Edmonton Oilers about that. We have a few things about this. If Jega is out, who will call up Trudeau? Not really. They have Whiteman right now for... there are Whiteman and the NHL. There are going to be 6 LT. Now, you can call another one. I will not touch Trudeau. If I was Montreal Canadian, I will go to maybe a Schoenemann. Baudin, unfortunately, cannot play. So for me, it will be Schoenemann. At least as some one other defenseman. I cannot remember, honestly. Like Norlander could be another one. I think if I was Montreal right now, I would try Norlander. That will give them an idea what it looked like right there. If you give them the shut him down after that, like this is over for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, but I think we'll probably see Schoenemann before we see Norlander, unfortunately. But yeah, that makes sense, though.
I will not do it to do why? Because Gahim says 20 minutes per game right now with Laval. He's getting a little bit better, but not bring him right away. I think I will let him down and consist to be a top 3 defenseman over there if I have an opportunity, if I was the Laval Rocket. We welcome Stu Pidasso. Mr. Tap is in the house. Stu, welcome back.
Stu Pidasso.
We're going to talk about this a bit more. And Mr. Tap, the new NHL injury, guys. Ottawa lost Forsberg. Really bad incident for Forsberg. Lucky is not request surgery. So 3 months possible for him, but again, both knees. And then Jake Sanderson at 10-14 days is not good news for the Ottawa Senators, losing him. And McEwen now is on ER. Possibly it could be a couple more weeks for the Flyers. McEwen about this. Like couple in lineup chant tonight. Montreal, Minnesota bring back Rand Reese in the lineup. The Ottawa bring now Zezev defenseman. And Buffalo Asplund or Asplund, whatever you want to call it. And out, Chikron out for the rest until he got trade. Nashville, Philip Forsberg, Mr. Tap. Philip Forsberg, taken out. And then Sanderson out. Minnesota, the first center, still is out. And then the Buffalo, L2 square for Peterka for tonight, Mr. Tap. That's what we got about all information you need to know for the game tonight. And then, Mr. Tap, we want to congratulate a couple of people. Ryan K, Luciano, Peter, August, Coach, and ENORTAP. Do I miss one? Maybe I miss one, but they are all the people go in the bus. Are you ready, Mr. ENORTAP?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Bus.
Here we go, Mr. ENORTAP. We got that one. If we go with Ski and Dak the next 5-6 years out, one the punch down the middle, is it good enough to be a contender? Good, but not great. Because I believe right there, it's not easy if you don't have those kind of the domination generation players about that, King. Who going to win with the Pittsburgh goalie? Who's going with with the Pittsburgh goalie? So what's going on with the Pittsburgh goalie? He's still on the injury.
Jerry's not ready yet.
Yep. And then King asked about the top 5 to 10. King about the Montreal Canadiens. It's really interesting. We don't know yet. But we don't. You have too many players. I will talk. Maybe come back at 9 o'clock tonight at the show. We're going to talk about this for sure. The Senators are going to compete with the Seller Twiler. I got pink eyes since I was on the bus about this for Mr. Marco. For the pink, I don't know. Every time I go with Coach, Coach go to the bus with.
You gotta watch what you touch, Marco.
That's happening, Mr. ENORTAP. You're absolutely right about this. We have a couple of things I want to talk about this. Before I start about the first game of the night, about this game, the last game of the night, Mr. ENORTAP, we have a couple of news. First of all, nobody in the jail. Nobody's going to visit the Danny T. County jail. But we want to talk about the leadership, Mr. ENORTAP, about the body boss. You dominate with 17 alone with 3 boss last week, followed by Peter August 2. And then coach 3 times. I go to bus with you. I don't know why it's going on with that, but that's happening, Mr. ENORTAP. And then Jose have 1. Richard Modern, 2 busts. Luciano, 3 busts last week. He's starting to listen to you, Mr. ENORTAP, and they got very what. He's doing better, Luciano. Ryan Cook, 3 busts last week. Congratulations. The jail time, Danny dominated, won the only one with Dimitra, won to the jail twice. Last week. And Gary Cournoyeur, he's in the chat right now, won to the jail, Mr. ENORTAP, twice last week. Following by the winning percentage, I dominate at 595. Nobody at 600, Mr. ENORTAP, followed by you, Yamo. Go ahead.
No, I said not yet, but I think you're very close now to hitting
that. Yeah, it should be a bit more easier at the end of the season, hopefully. I dominate with a number to win over you for about, 4 games, I think. Not much. Yamo, it dropped a little bit. And Vinny is number 4. Finally, the week, the leaderboard on the point. Now, I pick it up, the first one, followed by ENORTAP and Yamo. 22 points last week, I dominate. And then following by you and Ryan Kirk are the 3-star of the week for the number of the point last week. That gave us all the little board about this one over there. If you are user, do you take a chance on Krazov from Marco? I would say yes if you don't give a lot in return. Not much in return.
I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on him yet.
But you have nothing to lose at the end, right? And the talent is there. Sometimes a chance the scenery could helping him. Like I said, you don't give him a first-round pick or a Sean Farrell in return. But if you pay low, I think you should give a chance. He's still young, and look what happened with Kirby Dach. It could be the same situation with him. The player is very talented. He is.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's just whether he can convert it to a sustained
absolutely
basis
about that.
or not with the team. Would you, Coach, if Edmonton puts Puljujarvi on the waivers, would you bother trying to pick up Puljujarvi in Montreal?
Why not? Why? Because look what happened with Tolvanen. That's the same thing I'm thinking about Krazov. Because Tolvanen right now you have what? I just talked about him somewhere yesterday. I don't know when. Or on the Twitter and put it Twitter. He have 19 point. Well, he have 9 goals. 12 point and 19 game. 9 goal. So I would take a chance.
You just never know.
On the waiver, I would try Puljujarvi.
If nothing else, he gives you size on the wing, right? So
you're absolutely about that. Danny gave us Ottawa. You see, Danny don't listen to you. He go with it thinking Ottawa without knowing what you want to tell him why you took Calgary, Mr. ENORTAP, tonight.
You see, Coach knows me very well. Okay, well, after probably one of the biggest victories of the season, the Flames finally look to keep their scoring touch going when they visit Ottawa tonight. The Flames, in their last game, they trailed 2-0 in the first period against the Sabres, and then they took quickly a 3-2 lead with 3 quick goals in the span of about 4 minutes, and they never really looked back. The third period was totally Calgary's. They scored 7 goals in total, which was their highest output for the year. They outshot Buffalo 40-23. And this is a team, when you look at a coach, they lead the league in shots on net, and yet they're towards the very bottom in terms of their shooting percentage. And it's not like they don't have, some pretty good snipers on that team. They actually have some good players, but it's one of those things that, if you wait long enough, I think things tend to adjust themselves statistically if things are in your favor, or sometimes you're doing very well and the stats don't verify it, then there'll be some kind of regression happening as well. Markstrom, stopped 21 of 23 shots. It ended a personal 0-3-2 winless drought for him. He's he's pretty much been alternating now with Vladar, 1 game in, 1 game out, almost the entire last month. The win also ended a 2 game winless drought for the Flames and improved their record to 2-1-1 in their first 4 games of this 5 game road trip. So Ottawa is really the final stop for them in this trip. The Senators, as we mentioned before, some bad news with Anton Forsberg, who had to be stretchered off the ice late in the third period, and goaltending is going to be an issue going forward. It looks like it's both his knees were affected in the injury. So we don't know exactly when he'll be back. They're saying week to week, but now last I heard is I would add an S to that and say weeks to weeks rather than week to week. And then also Jake Sanderson, I think, got hurt in that game. So it looks like we're looking at Markstrom tonight against Sogard,
Yep.
which will make it I think it'll be a close game between these two, but I think Calgary in the end wins it 4-3.
Here we go, Mr. Tap. I told you. Again, Mr. Tap, he copied me.
I copied you, yeah.
4-3, Mr. Tap, for me. 4-3.
Okay. 4-3. There we go.
Okay, so we need a top 6 winger in the draft. Yep, you're absolutely about this. Second game, Nashville and the Predator versus
Oh,
again
my goodness.
Arizona
This
Coyotes.
one is this one is confirmed. It's Vejmelka against Lankinen going tonight. The Predators have been playing, very well recently. They've won 4 of their past 5 games, which includes a 1-1 record since they returned from the All-Star game. They sit just outside of the playoff picture at the moment. So for them, this represents a very winnable game that they definitely need to pick up 2 points. It's one of those things that at the end you'll think back and say, if you miss the playoffs by 3-4 points, where could I have picked up those points? Well, this is that kind of game. Nashville is actually a very interesting team from a statistical perspective. They don't really generate, or sorry, they do generate high danger scoring chances at probably the highest rates in the league. But they also give up a lot of scoring chances themselves from a defensive perspective, which kind of surprised me when I first saw that, because I thought defensively they were a little bit more sound than suspected. But then when you look at some of the games that Saros has saved their proverbial behind, and the number of saves he's had to make in some of those games, I guess it's not that of a revelation in the end. This game, they are at home. I think it means more to them than Arizona in this case. I hate to go against Vejmelka because I think this guy always keeps Arizona in there, and I think that won't be any different. But I'm going to take Nashville because of the urgency element by a score of 4-3.
4-3, Mr. Tap. All right, I'll go 4-2, Mr. Tap. But if you tell me, are you sure? Not at all. I see Lankinen there. I see Forsberg out.
Yeah. Out as well, yeah.
But I think you said it because the urgency to win those games. I'm not sure why Saros not play tonight. I'll play back-to-back game.
I'm not sure. Don't think so. And usually they put the better goaltender in the first night. If that were the case, let me just check here if they play tomorrow. No, they don't play tomorrow.
So I don't understand that. It's
very surprising. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, our next game is Florida.
Maybe they want to tank
Minnesota. Well, then we're in trouble tonight with our prediction, is what I'm going to say. and I'm gonna wish I took Arizona. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they don't get the 2 points here tonight, Coach. They could just about waive a playoff, any playoff aspirations away because they're not going to get there. Um, Next game we have Florida and Minnesota. The Panthers, they start their 4-game road trip in Minnesota after that 5-3 defeat of the Colorado Avalanche this past Saturday, which was a very good result for them. Or sorry, defeat. It was a defeat. My apologies. They lost to Colorado by a score of 5-3. Uh, they're now, as you see there, 26, 23, and 6. They currently sit in 4th in the Atlantic. It's really been an up and down season for them compared to last year when you look at things. Now, the offense has been there pretty much most of the season. I think they rank somewhere around 3rd in the NHL in that category. The defense, on the other hand, has not. They rank 26th in the league, and that's really been the biggest issue. The goaltending has been pretty much average at best. Tonight, I think we have Bobrovsky against Gustafsson going. The only really, or one of the most positive leaders has been Kachuk. He hasn't really skipped a beat. He's produced 73 points in 52 games so far this season. So you can't blame him. He's done his job. The Wild, they come into this game after that 3-2 shootout win over the New Jersey Devils on Saturday. They're in a playoff spot right now as we speak. With the record that they have, they're currently sitting in 3rd in the Central. They've been good on the defensive side of the puck this season, ranking 10th in the league with 152 goals against. The Wild have also, a very good young superstar on their hands. I really like Matt Boldy. He's produced 37 points in 52 games. And this is after a slow start to the season. One final thing I'll mention here is that the Panthers are 6-14 the last 20 times against a team with a winning record, which is contributing to the fact that they are in the position that they are. They're beating up on the weaker teams, which is great, but they can't seem to compete with the tougher teams. And the Panthers are 2-7 in the last 9 games that they've played against Minnesota. So I'm going to take the Wild here to win this one by a score of 4-2.
4-2, Mr. Untap. And you have, of course, Luciano said to you, do you take a note? 9-1-2 at home, 10-2-1 against Florida at home.
Yeah.
So, confirmation about this. 4-2, Mr. Untap, for the Minnesota.
4-2 for you?
4-3.
Or no, you have 4-3. 4-3, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
4-3. Okay. Detroit and Vancouver could be a very interesting one as well. This time, well, we know what's happened to Martin, so it looks like it's Husso against Delia going tonight. Yep. The Red Wings, they're traveling to Vancouver to take on the Canucks in the second time in the last 3 days. Both teams, they met on Saturday in Detroit with the Red Wings coming away with I thought, a rather easy 5-2 victory. Traditionally, it's hard for the Eastern teams to travel out west and then have success. But the Canucks can't really defend very well or keep the puck out of their own net that much, especially when they're playing at home. So that's going to present an issue. The other thing you might want to look at is the fact that the East has really dominated this year against the West. So that's something to throw in there. And finally, I would say Detroit, they're 13-7 in the last 20 games against Vancouver, and they're 6-4 in the last 10 games. And the last 3 games, if you want to get more recent, they're 3-0. So to me, that spells a Red Wing victory, but I think it'll be closer than we think. I'm going to go with 4-3.
I took Detroit, MEILLEUR,
Yeah.
but I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
Why not? What's your reasoning behind it?
Because if you look the last game, Detroit went at home against them, and because Martin was so bad.
Well, Delia hasn't been ripping the league apart either, though, coach. So I don't know. I mean, I don't like the fact that Vancouver's at home, even though they haven't played great there either. Detroit does play better at home than they do on the road by a wide margin. But still, I think if Detroit has any aspirations of making any kind of run at a playoff spot, they can't afford to lose this game. Whereas Vancouver, I think, is their mindset is already into tanking.
All right, I trust you. You convince me again.
Trust.
I will go with you for Detroit.
Okay. And the last game of the night is the Buffalo Sabres and LA Kings. In the late game, these two have faced off before in a December game where Buffalo totally dominated LA and ended up winning that game 6-0. And a loss like that stays with the team and their mindset. So I think you can expect the Kings to come out a little bit hungry for revenge in this one. I believe that they probably will get that revenge here tonight. These two teams are not far off from each other in terms of their talent level, but the Kings have a slightly, I think, better roster at this stage right now, with some good combination of veterans on the team as well. I think that's the biggest difference between the two teams. Buffalo, they're 3-12 in their last 15 games when playing on the road against LA, despite Buffalo being 5-2 in the last 7 games against LA. So the fact that they're on the road, I think that's going to hurt Buffalo here. So I think we have Anderson and Copley playing. I think Copley's confirmed. Anderson wasn't. Anderson's confirmed now?
I know. I don't know about Anderson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Copley for sure. But I think Anderson's going. So I'm going to go with LA to win this one, but it'll be a lot closer than that 6-0 game. I think it'll be 4-3 for LA. They're also fighting for their life. LA is.
Real deal is in the house, Mr. Tap. Is not what he like to hear from us when we took the Kings. LA is 30-28-9 at home. This is all time. To be on the road is good for the Sabres. You have to write 9-1-2. They are the hottest team and on the road, Mr. Tap, right now since December 1st, the Buffalo Sabres. That changed your name or not? That changed your mind or not?
No, I think that Buffalo being 3-12 in their last 15 games against LA on the road, that holds a lot of water for me.
Okay.
I'll keep with LA.
That's why I listen to you. I said the Kings, Mr. Tap.
Yeah, the Kings all the way.
Yep. So that's conclude, guys, another warm-up show. But tonight, Mr. Tap, if you are doing a lot of, some people do fantasy hockey, I want to give you the best 3 team, have the strength of the schedule really easy this week. Toronto Maple Leafs, 3 game, 2 against Chicago, 1 against Montreal. So they are easy schedule. The New Jersey Devils play 4 game. Columbus, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Winnipeg. Not too bad for them. And then the LA, Buffalo, Anaheim, Arizona. So 3 teams, if you consider to put on your strength of your schedule, they are Mr. Tap for them this week for the strength of the schedule. We'll give you a try. Faisait un show à Tap. Yann, on fait un show à soir, mais on n'est pas sûr si on va faire le quiz à la fin. About that one over there. Mr. Tap, what are you looking for before we get out here? about the show tonight. What is your looking for?
Probably, I would say that the most exciting game could be that Minnesota-Florida game. Um, Again, Minnesota's been on a bad streak lately, and they know that if they're going to hang in there, they have to win this.
You're absolutely right about that. For the end of the season, the 29, 30 game, 32 game, they have to remaining. Every game counts for something. And every night, they have a team have to win. They cannot lose, right? I think Calgary tonight cannot lose this game tonight. I think the Minnesota or the Florida Panthers cannot lose that game tonight. Nashville cannot lose that game tonight. And Buffalo tonight cannot lose that game again. So every time you have some team have to win those W. And you think about this, Florida have a good start of the week because they last Saturday against Colorado. They are not better understanding.
I know. You have to win at such an incredible pace.
It's really hard when you're running and you're not in control about your destination. Like Pittsburgh, they have everything on their hands. If they lose because of them, they don't have to look behind. If they continue to play what they're supposed to play, they are fine. But when you're running and you don't have, like Islanders, Florida play most of the game, now they have to help. They need help from other team, and that's not easy, Mr. ENORTAP.
Yeah, you're right.
But one thing we know, Mr. ENORTAP,
as
here,
usual,
at the warm-up show, we know this one.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
You have greatness inside of you, Mr. ENORTAP. We want to thank you again for your great knowledge about all the predictions, but of course, all the moderators that chat tonight. Thanks so much. And all the people participate with us. Too many of you have been with us. We appreciate it. Don't forget, we are back tomorrow night, 6 o'clock p.m. Tonight, 9 o'clock, join me. The new program's called the HABS Nation Live Tonight Show. Start at 9 o'clock p.m. We're going to talk about Montreal Canadiens, of course. And I can't wait to see each one of you. Until then, Mr. ENORTAP, of course, be well, be hell. Find a way not only to dominate your day, but find a way, Mr. ENORTAP, to dominate what?
You're 2023.
You did it again. Have an amazing, great night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Good night,